if you believe that we can help you and that issue, like it doesn't matter what it is, right? If you believe us as fitness professionals to help the issues you have, then you know we're ready to get going with you.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple with Blake and Sherman. Today we have a guest on us, Seth Blumenau. And I'm going to introduce him. Gonna let him talk about his gym. Seth owns a franchise. I'll let him name the franchise and all of that. But Seth, first of all, thanks for hanging out with us, buddy. We're excited.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, man, tell us a little bit about the gym and tell us, how'd you get in the franchise space? Because Blake and I, we own CrossFit gyms. Those aren't franchises. You sort of free for all, do what you want to do. But with us working with so many franchises, this is definitely this intrigues us.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm the owner of Metabolic in Stamford, Connecticut. I've been the owner there now for just about 7 months. We took over in December. We had been part of Metabolic down in Charlotte, the flagship location where it all began. Me and my wife, Kayla, were down there for about 5.5 years before we moved to Stamford. So she was she was a MAD member for about 4.5 years. I was one for about 3.5 to 4 years. So she kind of pulled me into it through her Lululemon connection. They had all had, their Lululemon employees at MAD. She pulled me into it. I fell in love with it. It became my routine. And then we looked into kind of opening our own. So we landed, after a couple different situations, we've landed in Stamford and we've been at ownership there for about 7 months now.
Good. Okay, good, man. So, for us, it's been it's been pretty cool watching you sort of go from, member to owner. And I tell everyone, man, starting a gym, when someone does it right, it looks very simple and easy. It's just like, I start this gym, I get equipment, and people just come in and sign up, and then, I make all this money. But as we know, that is not the case. So with you, being with the franchise, I think that puts you guys just ahead of so many others because most of you guys come in with the mindset of, okay, I have to do marketing. I have to do these events before I open. So you guys are definitely more willing to spend money before you open so that as the gym matures and on day one, you have 50 to 100 members, right?
Yeah.
And when you first started with us, let's talk about sort of how that process went for you. And then I'll let you transition to, let's just start with, how did it start off with you when you first started working with us? Let's just start with that.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first dip into franchise ownership, gym ownership. So when I started with you guys, the process on your end was what you guys had, and I hadn't learned any sales process myself. So it was more of like, all right, here are leads coming in, and now I got to figure out what to do with them. And I didn't have that experience. Now it was something I was willing to learn, but it was going to take time, and I just wasn't, I wasn't there yet. Like you take over a gym, you start something, new, and you just, you don't know what you don't know yet.
Correct. Yep.
And I didn't know that I didn't know how to sell memberships. I wanted to, but I didn't know that I didn't know that. So I just didn't put myself in the right headspace to sell. Right. Mindset was a big thing for me. Like coming from client, as awesome as it was, like coming from client of Metabolic to trainer at Metabolic to owner, as awesome as that was, for me, the mindset shift was really hard. because I love MAD. I know why I stayed at MAD as a member for so long. I know why I went in the first place, and I know why, I was there for a long time. And that's because I was having struggles in my fitness routine, and I found something to kind of get me on track. I bought into everything that MAD stands for: the no BS, no quick fixes, eating your food, recovering, all that stuff. Like, I bought into that, but as a owner, you can't sell a culture of someone who hasn't experienced it yet. And coming in one or two times, they don't really get that full picture of what it is. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, you guys are gonna love MAD. Like, we have this, and this. We preach this, and this. And they're like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, it means nothing to me. And I'm like, okay, well, so now going ahead a couple months, with you guys again, and just kind of resetting, my mindset. Now it is going back to, when I say what was my why for MAD, right? I realized that I was sold on the issues that I had. I was struggling with my fitness routine, and someone sold me on, hey, we can help you with that. Like, that was my problem. So now when I go and sell to somebody else, my biggest concern is trying to figure out what their problem is to help them, so I can help them solve it. And at the end of the day, like, I'm in what I'm in because part of it is because, like, I want to help people. Like, that's been my whole thing from the get-go of years ago, of just like, I love helping people. And when I when I said, hey, I'm going to own a MAD, it's like, I'm going to help as many people as I can. But I'm not going to be able to help them just by telling them, like, hey, this is awesome. I'm going to actually have to help them by figuring out what it is that I'm helping with. So there's the mindset shift and I think that was the biggest key to my success. And that's kind of what's kept us where we are now and at the rate at which we're going.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I think that, you said so much gold there. So I'll sort of jump into a little bit of it. First, you were saying that, you were talking to people about sort of the bells and whistles of what MAD could do. So it was sort of very MAD based or you based, right? This is what it is. But, you figured out pretty quickly, because we started, like we were telling you, hey, listen, no one really cares about MAD or insert franchise or insert gym. They want to know, how can you help them, right? Like, that's all they really care about, because people have seen so many gyms and been a part of so many things. So, with so much noise out there, it's just, okay, let me, like, this looks good. Like, okay, now let me go in and talk to them. And I think being able to convey how your gym solves their problem is the biggest game changer out there.
Yeah, 100%. Like, if I have a conversation with someone and they tell me that they're looking for a new gym, and I ask them, like, okay, like, what are you doing now? And what are you trying to, why do you want to come and do a new gym? They're like, I'm just looking for something new. That's not a real why. Like, they've got something deep down there that I need to kind of fish out. Why are they why are you looking for something new? Because I've been doing the same thing for a while. Okay, well, like, if you've been doing the same thing for a while, why not continue to do the same thing you've been doing, right? Like, you've been doing it for a while, it's working, right? They're like, oh, well, no, it's not working. I'm like, there it is, right? So it's just like, it's just asking a couple more questions on top of honestly, the question is like, why? I don't like why, and then why, and like, eventually you're gonna get that answer. Again, like, this was not stuff, like, it seems so simple now, but like, this wasn't the shit that I did in the beginning. This wasn't stuff that I did. And like, I attribute a lot of my success also to, like, Beth, who's our business development. You guys had her on the podcast. Like, she would always message me and be like, hey, I saw you had a new client today. What's their why? And I, like, in the beginning, I didn't know what to answer. And it's not that I would lie, but I would be like, well, they just want, they want to gain muscle and lose fat. And like, well, everybody wants to do that, right?
Yeah, correct.
So, 99% of the people that walk in the door, and then there's a 1% where like, nah, I don't care I don't care about the weight, the number on the scale. I just want to gain muscle. Like, that's the 1%ers, right?
Yep.
There was more of those, but so just, it's, for me, it's been like a lot of just like, how, I don't want to say hounding, but like someone saying like, hey, like, we just need to keep going with people. Like, conversations just keep flowing. You just need to keep asking questions and don't talk as much. I mean, this is the most I've talked to somebody about Mad in now, 3 or 4 months, because I'm usually the one asking questions and listening. So I get to open my mouth a little bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a couple questions. So, I talked to another Mad Gym, and I think one interesting thing, because Metabolic does do free trials, right? I would say two questions, right? Like, what have you noticed? And I know this could be a hot topic, probably, maybe won't be when this comes out, but long trials versus like 1 day, right? And then also, like, I talked to another GM who's been crushing it. She's like, I'm 11 for 11 when I'm able to talk to them before they come in on phone call, and I'm 0% when they just come in on their own.
Yeah.
Right. Like, the difference of really establishing that why and that emotional connection before they come in, and why it's so important, right? Rather than in that quick 10-minute gap when they're dead and dying and they don't want to talk, right? Like, kind of go into like just how you've noticed like creating that emotional connection before they come in has then, turned into like more sales, right? And then the difference you see in the trials versus the people that don't talk to you and that do talk to you.
Yeah. I mean, so like, the process of like a new client coming in on their own for the first time, like there's already people in the lobby. There's already conversations going on in the background. Like, you got people asking you questions. You got people bumping people over so they can check in on the iPad to, make sure they know we know they're there. Like, there's just like a lot of distractions going on with inside the gym. So even if they've come in like 10 minutes early, there's still like distraction here, distraction here, distraction here. And I'm not going to get like locked in, like, conversation with them. Like, something is going to either take their mind off of me, or maybe even me off of them for a quick second. Whereas like if I call them on the phone and I say, hey, like, and I say, let's find a best time to talk. Like, give me your best time to talk. I'll call you. So I know that you are locked into our conversation. I know that I can have a conversation with them and them not have any distractions or anything like that. So for one, it's like laying the ground for like an actual productive conversation. The second part of it is like that just like, it's me and you only. Let's like have an honest conversation. Let's not worry about anybody else hearing about it. Like, this is all secretive, and like, it's just me and you, right? The more I can get out of them in that moment, like the more I feel like they trust me. Like, if they talking a lot, if they're kind of going into, hey, my issues are this, and this, I have this injury, I'm dealing with these issues, like, the more they're talking, that means the more they trust the person they're talking to. Yeah. So now when they come in, I can say like, hey, so good talking to you. And now I can make like that face to voice connection and then take care of them on the floor. And like, I've just built up trust after trust after trust. That way at the end of it, now when I go say, hey, you told me that you're looking for a new routine, you've been struggling with your previous one, you haven't had accountability, you haven't had structure, and I can help provide that for you. I'm going to stay on you about getting in 4 times a week. Any questions you have about movement that you've run into, you told me that, you're just not comfortable with like cleans and jerks, and like those are movements you haven't done before. Any questions you have about those, I'm here to help you. Like, we'll do some one-on-one time. I'm easing their mind about all of the things that they told me they struggle with. And that way at the end of it, I can say, hey, this is the membership that's best for you to get you where you want to be and help these issues. So I've just continued to build trust. And now that I have all the trust that I need, I can suggest, here's what's best for you to get there. The biggest thing is like, if I don't have those things to build on, I don't have anything to sell on. Yeah. So again, like getting on the phone, having conversations, asking questions, easing their mind of their issues, saying I can help them, like being an actual solution and not just being like well, our memberships are great. Like, we're going to, we've got this, this, and this. Let's do that. Yeah, it's suggestive. Like, I still want to be suggestive, but I want to be suggestive for the solution. I don't want to be suggestive for how awesome we are. So
I think one thing you said there too is like, you tell them this is the program for you, right? Like, a lot of gym owners in Metabolic, any gym owner, right? It's like, well, which one do you want to do? Right? It's like, no, like, you're telling them, hey, based on what you're telling me, this is going to get you. And then you, like you said earlier, and I've learned this because I used to be guilty of this too, like then you shut your mouth and then you wait for them to say no, right? Like, because then you'll basically talk them out of their own, everything that they're thinking as well. But I think that's a huge thing that, like, it was something small that you said, but it's a huge nugget for people to take, that like you become the professional, like the doctor. Like I always say, like you become the doctor. Like when you go into a doctor's office, you're like, yeah, like I think it's like X, Y, and Z, right? He's like, no, you have X, Y, and Z, and you need this medication,
Correct.
right? Or you just need to start doing this. It's the same thing as a gym owner. That's why they're coming to you, right? Like you need to do this, and this is the plan for you. And then it's up to them to be like, no, I think I need a second opinion, aka another gym, or I can't afford that one. Do you have anything else that like is a little lower? And then you're honest with them, like, yeah, you could come in 2 times a week, but if you keep eating garbage like you are now, you're still not going to get the results, right? Like but it's better than what you're doing now, though, right? Yeah. So I think that's huge. That something that gym owners really should take away is that like you have to be assertive and like be like, this is what you need, and you need to do this.
Yeah,
and it shows that you have confidence too, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that I would say like it shows that I have confidence, but it shows like I care about that individual. Like again, going back to like my why, like I want to help people, I do, but I want to, I need to figure out like what it is I'm helping, and kind of going back to like the trial period of like, yeah, if they come in and I don't know anything about them and it's their first time and they have like, maybe that's an opportunity to say, all right, come back. Let's, after your first class, like, hey, let's just book a quick call before your next one. Like now, me, right? Like you've seen my face, you know who I am. Let's book a quick call, or hey, hang out for 10 or 15 minutes after everybody leaves. I'll get everybody out the door. They're usually on their way, and let's just like hang out and talk for a few minutes. And I can set that before class, be like, hey, everyone usually gets out of here pretty quickly. They go on with their day. Just hang out for like 5 minutes afterwards. And they've done that. And then I, get my, I'll write some notes down. We'll have some conversation, and we have like that one-on-one rapport. Now, like people who leave the door after the first one, it's hard to get them back. Like they'll come back, but it's hard to get them back. And a lot of the time, like I definitely understand like the concept of like, it's only been one class. Like, how can I do that? But like, again, like if you believe that we can help you and that issue, like it doesn't matter what it is, right? If you believe us as fitness professionals to help the issues you have, then, we're ready to get going with you. So yeah, I don't want them to walk out the door, but I'm still confident in my abilities to get them if they do walk out the door and then, they do come back. So we'll set that tone and saying like, all right, we got you booked for 2 more classes, we'll see you then. And it's just, again, it's like suggestive, like we've got you booked. We will see you again, instead of like, will we see you? So just kind of setting tones with people. That's all. Like, again, confidence, but caring.
No, that's good. That's good. So talk to me about this, because I know when we first started, again, a lot of this sales stuff is new. And, for us, just having been in the industry for so long, what about that nurture process, that follow-up process? Because a lot of times people be like, well, I don't want to be too pushy. I don't want to bother them. Or if they, if they're interested, they'll just come back. But I always tell folks, like, that's not necessarily true, because if they were, a lot of people, they were super motivated, super disciplined, well, they wouldn't really be joining the gym anyway, right? They wouldn't have any problems. So talk about that nurture process and how important that is.
Yeah, I mean, like if I go into like phone calls, like I don't think I've had someone tell me like, hey, you just like have nonstop been badgering my phone. Like you've just been heckling me like through the phone. Like you call me, once a day, no matter what, like Monday through Sunday. And I'm like, I've never gotten someone to tell me like, stop calling me. They'd say, hey, no, I'm not interested. Thank you so much. But they're not like, stop calling me. You call me every day. So like, again, I'm calling them to help them. I'm not calling them to help me. So, like if I get on the phone with somebody finally and I say, hey, like, do we have a few minutes? I've been trying to reach you. I'll just only take a couple minutes of your time. Is now a good time? Yep. Yes. Okay, great. Let's talk a little bit. Tell me what you've been, struggling with, why you're looking for a new gym. And then we go through that conversation. And then it's like, hey, let's get you into a class now. I think Blake, like you say this all the time of like, you say you're ready to start now, but you want to push it back to next week. Like, no, like that's not now, that's next week. Like, let's get you in now. that's a big one. Like people, I've realized like on my, keeping track of everything and all my data, like the longer we have between the conversation and their first class, the less likely it is to get them to sign up. Like that's a person who is just not committed yet to bettering themselves. And they could be down the
Yeah.
line, but they're just not there yet. So,
And,
um,
yeah, and I would say to people listening too, if somebody's like, "Oh, can I come in like 2 weeks from now?" Just be like, "Hey, I'm not going to book you. I'm just going to reach out in 2 weeks and see if we're more ready." But like you said, give pushback, right? And I would even say to them like, "Hey, what we talked about, what's going to make us unique is I'm going to hold you accountable, and it's starting today, right?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, wow, like this place is actually like kind of gives a crap,
right. And that's how I feel like that right there is like how we show them what mad is without having to like mad vomit, right? Like without having to like just talk about mad. It's like showing them those little pieces of what makes us different and unique. That way they like know we're the real deal and we're serious about them. So yeah, back to like just like a little bit of more like lead nurturing. Like I'm I'm even just like super on top of them in warm up, like their first class in, because in my mind, like I haven't done anything yet. Like I don't have them until they've said like, yes, this membership works, do it. So like even in the process of them coming in the door, talking to them in warm up, asking a couple more questions. What do you do for work? Where do you live? Like just little things, they'll bring up their kids. And then like, those are little snippets that I have in my mind now. So maybe they come back like, oh, how'd the week go? How was the kids' soccer game? Like just little things to like make them know that like I actually am listening to them and care. And then they'll be like, "Oh wow, you remember? Like you remember I have a 3-year-old? Yeah, you told me. You told me you did. Why wouldn't I remember?" Right? So, and that's just kind of like that's just kind of the person I am too. Like I want to know about people that I'm gonna see on a 4 times a week. Like why not get to know these people, right?
Yeah, and I think one thing to your point that I always bring this up. Everybody that's listening that wants to go the AI route down the road, that's why it's never going to work is based on what Seth just said. Because he is going to beat your gym because he's actually going to give a crap about their life. Where AI, I mean, who knows? Maybe it will at some point remember this stuff. But as of right now, it does not remember they have a 3-year-old. They had a soccer game. And all of that unique stuff is what sets you apart because it's like gym owners, they just forget you're in a service-based business with people. It's like it's not like you're sending a product to somewhere. Like even then you still can care about people. It doesn't really matter what company you're in. But like people are always trying to make it the easy route of like AI, whereas like it's just never gonna work as good as, and I always say that the person that is always caring more about the people that they're connecting with are always gonna win at the end, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's huge.
100%.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Seth. No, you go ahead.
No, you're good. Yep. Done.
So like a lot of times we work with so many gyms, and someone will be like, well, like, can I even get good at this sales thing? I'm a little uncomfortable with it right now. I'm not opposed to it, but I've never been trained. Like, can I? So, do you think someone can get better at sales and all of this stuff? What's your
100%. 100%. Like sales is not like it's not like a college degree. Like you don't get a college degree in sales. Like I don't think any good salesman ever like went to school for sales. They just learned how to do it. Look, did I learn how to do it maybe differently than someone else can? Like, yeah, I did it more of like trial and error. I kind of tried something. I was like, that's not working. Let me try to figure out something else. But like, even during that, like I was still reading up a little bit about it and listening to YouTube videos about, and some of the good salesmen. And I will say like, it's hard to learn sales when like you're listening to someone who doesn't sell what you sell. Like that was difficult. Like I'm going to listen to, let's say like Jeremy Miner, like just a known salesman. And like, he's talking about selling like a product to a mass company. And like, it's, that's not what we do. So like, it's hard to make those kind of like analogies with our clients. But it's like, it's not really like the exact example you need to listen to. It's like tone and it's follow up. And it's those things. And if you just know how, like, if you're a good listener, I think you can become a good salesman. because
Oh,
all
yeah.
selling is just like repeating back what they said to you is their like whatever whatever the case may be, their issue or what they need, and being like, oh, I have that. Like I can do that for you. I can help you with that. I can sell you that car. Like I have those those perks. Like um so yeah, 100%. I think people can, and I think there's a lot of different routes, and I think it's like a patient game, and I don't think it's like an ending game. Like I think it's just you just continue to get better at it. Like until you're 100% conversion, you can
Yeah.
still get better.
Yeah,
So
which you won't be. No one will be.
no,
No, but
no,
like, I like what you're saying. Like, by the way, if Jeremy Miner, if you hear this podcast, we love to have you on here. Just so you know.
there
Uh,
you go.
but yeah, no, I agree with you. It's just you have to like. I tell everyone, I would much rather have someone with no sales experience that wants to get better, rather than someone that has a little bit sales experience but they don't necessarily love it. Because here's the thing: if you don't love, helping people, like it's gonna be hard, right? Like a lot of people that because they think of sales as like used car salesman, but I always try to change people's minds. Say, remember, you're actually selling them something that we're talking about gym memberships. At these gyms and franchises that we work with, that if they do exactly what you tell them for 6 months, their life is going to be drastically improved. So it's not like you're selling them like a lemon that's gonna die in a month when they drive out the lot. Like this is something that could change their life, that could add years to their lives. So that's the reason that for us at Lasso, we're so passionate about the sales training as well. Because if we can, yes, we can get you the leads and stuff like that. But if you can actually sign them up and get them in the gym and change their lives, now this is a whole new ball game, right? Like this is a
Yep.
whole new ball game. So all right, so we're gonna get ready to wrap it up, but I'm going to ask you one final question. Unless Blake, do you have a question?
My question is probably the same question as yours. What would you tell other people?
Yeah,
Or is it a different question? All right,
similar to
same
that.
question.
Yeah,
So you
similar
go
to
ahead.
that. Similar.
You
to
go
that.
ahead.
Yeah, so like if someone is sort of on the fence, or they're just like, what is this? Like what is this last little thing? Like how does it work? Like, what would you tell them? And just be open and honest. Like, what would you tell them? Um, like what would you tell them if they were like, oh, like I'm not sure about this, sort of on the fence about this whole marketing and sales thing? What would you tell them?
Yeah, honestly, I would probably tell them that I would say, look, this is where I started from, and these are the kind of the things that kind of help me get to where I'm at right now and continue to go in the path that we're on. And I can like be like, oh, here's all this data, and like here's from A to B. That's probably what people like want to hear, right? The most, like especially someone who doesn't understand the marketing as much and understand like what they're actually going to get out of going with you guys, and but that's on one side of it. The other side of it would be like I feel like I work with you guys and I feel like you guys care about my success and not only my success, but like Mad's success, which is great. Like I feel like you guys believe in what we are doing, which is just, like that's to us, like as clients of yours, like you want the people that you're hiring, um, to believe in what you're doing. And I feel like I got that with you guys. Um, that's easy for me to see. Like you're working with other Mads, you're workshopping things to try to make them as best as they can. And of course that is your job, but there's like the little technicalities of like, messaging and just like following up on, hey, like what did you do? What can we help you with this month that you didn't feel like you got help with last month? Or because like there's always situations that I have, right, where I'm like, I'll ask, we've been working together for like 6 months now. And every month I'm like, I had a situation last month and I didn't know how to answer it. Like, how do I go about this? And there's always going to be like a new situation. I feel like every time there's a new situation, you guys have the answer to that situation. So you're getting someone who cares about what you're selling. You're getting people who care about helping you with any, little roadblock or situation you run into. And then you're getting people who are actually like getting like the job done. Like your product actually works. So that's what I would say.
All right, good. No, that's good. We appreciate that. And I think, sort of to piggyback on what you're saying, like we tell everyone, like when they get on these calls with us that don't know us, we're like, listen, I know you have a lot of questions. We're going to answer those. But like for Blake and I and the rest of the Lasso team, we always joke, like we're joking, but we're dead serious. we want you to be a huge testimonial for us, right? Like your success is our success. So we're fully bought in to you being the most successful that you can be, right? Like that's why we love when gyms crush it and all of that stuff. Like we love being a part of that, right? Like we get to get a little piece of that. Like, hey man, we help them do that, you know? So yeah, we appreciate those words. So, hey guys, you know, thanks for, you know, hanging out with us today. Seth, we appreciate your time, buddy. I know you're on quote unquote vacation, you know, semi right now, but we appreciate your time. Seriously.
No, yeah. I appreciate you guys. You guys having me and giving me like a platform to just kind of talk about my success. It's, you know, I don't take much. I'm not someone who takes a lot of time to look back and say like good job to myself. But, you know, I've been able to do that the last couple of months, which has been really good for me. Like to take a second and just like say like I've done a good job, and I've not have been able to have that opportunity to say that to myself without the process that we've been doing with you guys and that what's put in place to get us there. So we're going to keep going. I hope I can have a lot of moments of that as we keep going. But just because I can say good job doesn't mean I'm done yet. But you know, we'll keep chucking. So I appreciate it.
All right, man. Well, keep crushing it, guys. And as usual, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's LASSOFRAMEWORK.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.